All right, we are good to go. And let's start. Thank you all for joining. It's a weekday, and thanks everyone for investing your time in learning something new today. I'll quickly introduce myself and who we are, and also share a little about the agenda for today, and so that it creates the right expectations for you guys, and then that helps us in discussing. What we had planned. I'm sorry. Yeah. That helps us in discussing what we had planned and whatever you have on your mind. You may have questions, you may want to know more, and so on, that we can take up at the end. So I'm Varun Poladia. I'm from navan.ai. I lead marketing in navan.ai. And navan.ai, as an organization, we are a generative AI solutions company. We are based in Singapore. I mean, in terms of solutions, we do both the things. We do products, we build products, and then we also offer services. So that's who we are on a very, very broad level. We've been in the AI space, AI and generative AI space. Generative AI very recently, I think about the last 2, 3 years. But AI space, we've been here, I think, since 2019, 20-ish. And that has given quite a bit of experience, a lot of insights, and we've learned from our mistakes. We've learned from others' mistakes in the industry as well, and that helps us share information with others, share our experience and knowledge with others. So that's what we are doing. We do webinars where we, share knowledge about what to do, what not to do, how to go about using generative AI for multiple applications, and so on. So today we are going to be talking mostly about AI chatbots, and we are going to be building an AI chatbot. So in case you are on your desktop, your computer, and you want to build your own chatbot during this webinar, we will be able to do that, right? So to get started, I'll just share the link here so that everyone can go ahead. That is, yeah. So I've shared the link in the chat, and this is the platform where we'll be building the AI chatbot for today. All of you can do that simultaneously. And before we get to the actual building part, by the end of these 30 minutes, we'll be able to create, a chatbot. But before we get to that, a little bit of introduction, a little bit of understanding on chatbots and what they are, how they work, and so on, right? So we'll discuss that in the beginning and then get to the actual hands-on building part. Okay, moving on. So, sorry, yeah. Yes. So introduction to AI chatbots. I'm sure all of you have used chatbots, but then what I've seen mostly is that people cannot really differentiate between AI chatbots and traditional chatbots. And what has happened is that, especially after the advent of ChatGPT and the popularity that LLM models have gained, there are multiple options available now, and chatbots have become more human-like, and the kind of support, the kind of information you get from chatbots now is much, much, much better than what you used to get earlier from traditional chatbots. So before we get to the differences, I'm going to talk about AI chatbots and how they work essentially, right? So typically, AI chatbots are RAG-based, so that's one of the frameworks by which chatbots are trained, or AI chatbots are and and then they gather data and then provide you the information. So they retrieve the information, augment, and then generate the response for you. So these are RAG-based, and then these are custom trained on certain data. So let's say you want your chatbot only to be trained on your website, for example, then you can do that. If you want your chatbot only to be trained on a particular marketing collateral, for example, you can do that. Or you want your chatbot only to be connected to your project management software or your tool, then that can be done as well. And then it will be able to answer only that, or answer questions only related to that topic that it has learned from. So as a result, there is no hallucination when you build specific chatbots for certain use cases. But usually what you see is that when you use chatbots which are very generic in nature, then there is hallucination that happens at certain times, especially with certain kinds of data. which may or may not really be true, which may not exist at sometimes. So when you build an AI chatbot with certain data, these and it's RAG based, then the probability of hallucination goes down drastically. So essentially, it's as good as no hallucination that you can achieve basically. So that's on a very broad level. That's what AI chatbots are mostly, or RAG-based AI chatbots are. There could be other ways in which you build AI chatbots as well. Moving on, I think we're going to discuss mostly about the differences between AI chat assistants or AI chatbots and traditional chatbots. Because this is, like I said earlier, this is one area where I think people do not have a lot of understanding. Even entrepreneurs who have been using chatbots on their website, on their social media for years, they themselves still do not understand the differences mostly. So there are a few key differences. Few key differences that we need to remember, that we need to understand. So think of AI chatbot as like an AI agent or an AI based human, basically, on the other side, versus a traditional chatbot is more like just asking something or just selecting a few options and then getting a few answers related to those question options. So let's dig a little deeper into this. Now, with AI chatbots, like I said, yeah, these consider these as kind of AI or human AI, or human-like AI agents. What happens is that these understand the context and the intent of what you want to convey, what you want to talk about, what you want to ask, right? So those are AI chatbots. But on the other side, when you talk about traditional chatbots, these are very rigid, very rule-based, uh, you know, uh, kind of tools, basically, where you have a certain list of questions that you have to choose from, and then based on what question or what option you are choosing, there'll be a predefined answer that has been created already, pre-scripted response that has already been created earlier, and you'll get that same response, right? So there's no context, or there's no understanding in that in a traditional chatbot in that scenario. But when you talk to an AI chatbot, the experience is very, very different in that sense. The other advantage of AI chatbot is that you can have continuous learning, continuous improvement. You can also inculcate machine learning into it, and it can improve on its own. I mean, there will be some logic required and certain programming required for that, but to achieve that, but then it's possible. But with traditional chatbots, it becomes very rigid, and there isn't a lot of flexibility possible in that. And again, coming to the usage part, right? Um, there are a lot of integrations that you can have with your AI chatbot. Like just like I said, right? If you connect it to your project management tool, then it can typically answer all your queries. So let's say you are an entrepreneur managing and your team is working on maybe 5 different projects, and you want to know what's the status of multiple projects, right? So you can just have a chatbot connected to your just have the AI chatbot connected to your project management tool, and you can ask questions like, where's this project going? What's the status? Is there any delay or not? What are the hurdles? Who's working on what, and so on. You can just ask that naturally, like you would be asking your project manager, and it'll be able to answer all those questions. So those kind of integrations are possible, basically. But then with traditional chatbots, it becomes very, very difficult to achieve this kind of an integration. And it becomes a huge task to even try to achieve this kind of a scenario. But with AI chatbot, it becomes very, very easy to have that kind of integration done. Obviously, there is some manual involvement required in that in terms of the setup, but then later on, once it's done, it's seamless. And the biggest advantage that usually I feel with AI chatbots is that they can handle more number of queries, more kinds of queries, and a lot of diverse topics versus traditional chatbots, which are only going to talk about, what's there in the script, what they learned from in the script itself, because that's the only thing that they do. But with an AI chatbot, it understands a lot many things, and whatever it's like training someone, like a human takes probably like 20, 30 years to learn to educate himself or herself. And you're trying to do the same process with an AI chatbot where you're giving a certain set of data and you're asking that chatbot to learn from that data. So it's not like the chatbot is going to exactly expect the same questions or provide the same answers that are there verbatim in the document that it has learned from, or whatever source knowledge base it has learned from. But it'll be able to understand from that. It'll create its own knowledge base, create its own understanding, and then it'll be able to answer your questions or take care of the tasks that have been assigned to that. So it's not just question and answers, but then you can also have AI chat bots converted into AI chat assistants, rather, where you can have the assistant take care of multiple tasks, right? So let's say you've connected your, again, we'll just continue with the example that I had earlier, that I had spoken of earlier, where you're connecting it to your project management tool, right? So if it's using or if it's connected as an assistant, what I can also do is that I can just chat with the chat assistant, and I can say that, okay, this task in this project has to be assigned to this person, and it will be able to do that automatically. It'll create that item in the project management tool. It'll inform the right person, alert the right person, and so on, right? So it can do that automatically, but a traditional chatbot will not be able to do that. So those are a few examples of how AI chatbots are different from traditional chatbots. So that's something I wanted to cover because it's necessary to understand the basic difference. Moving on from there, I think the biggest concern that we have these days is data privacy, right? Because I mean, with AI, obviously there's a question about data privacy. All of us have seen, all of us have read news about data being used without consent by AI or by certain AI companies, and then it creates problems for us. So, as an organization, if I am using AI for my customer, for my customer, for example, or if I'm using AI to add certain data from my confidential data and train an AI chatbot on that, then uh, what makes a highest amount of difference is the data privacy. Because if I cannot ensure data privacy, then I cannot really use AI, right? So that's the problem that a lot of companies face, especially enterprises. Now, the solution for that is a private deployment. So instead of using a public cloud, what can be done is you can use your own cloud, or you can use on-prem, or you can do on-prem deployment as well, where the data remains within your network, within your cloud, and only your organization or certain people within your organization have access to that data. So it does not leave your network, and that's how we can achieve data privacy. So private deployment is where you can achieve data privacy. Now, not all LLM models will allow private deployment, but there are quite a few LLM models which would work even with private deployment. So that's where you have to choose, and when you build your chatbot, that's where you have to choose which LLM model to use in case you want to deploy. Access control. So once you deploy it on your network, you can also control who can visit or who can view what data on the chatbot. And irrespective of where you're deploying, actually, even if it's on public cloud as in like AWS or somewhere, and even then you'll be able to define who from your organization is able to visit or see what kind of data. And obviously the third most important part is that it's only trained on your data, so it does not hallucinate, and at the same time it provides the correct responses to your stakeholders. So that's how you ensure data privacy, and since that's a big challenge, I think that's one of the easiest ways by which you can ensure that your data remains within your organization. Now, here's an example of one of the chat assistants or chatbots that I had built earlier. I think it's been like a month or so. Um, what I did here is that I uploaded a document which had certain information about the company. So it talked about what the company offers in various industries. So it's a product, it's services, whatever the company is offering in various industries. So I just uploaded the document, and it was able to learn from that. So what you see on the left is a screenshot of that document. But what you see on the right is my conversation with the AI chat assistant after it was trained. So I was asking, what services do you offer for the manufacturing industry? And then based on what it had learned, it was able to answer that, okay, these are the things that we offer for the manufacturing industry. So this is just an example how we created an AI chatbot or a chat assistant to typically use it for marketing and sales, where you have your a chatbot trained on your company data, and then audio marketing collaterals, and it's facing your customer. So you deploy it on your website, and your customer is able to, round the clock, they're able to come to your website and get information about what you do, what you do not do, what's the cost, what's the pricing, how does it work, and so on, right? As long as all the information is available, it'll be able to answer. Does not need to be a script. You do not have to upload, or you do not have to write the questions and answers yourselves. You just have to upload whatever document, whatever information you have, right? So moving on from here, we'll get to the hands-on part. So in case you want to do it right now, while I'm building it, I'll show it to you. You can scan this QR, or you can also go to agents.navan.ai. I've shared this link in the chat as well, the meeting chat that we have. So you can go to the meeting chat and you can go to this link as well. So while you do that, I'll go to the platform. I'll show you how we can actually build the chatbot, right? So moving on from here, I'll just share the uh, tab. Hang on a minute. Sorry for this. I'm just changing the tabs. So hang on. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Can someone give me some kind of response? Yes,
Sure.
no, thumbs up. So thank you. All right. Yeah. So you can go to agents.navan.ai. And the first one that you see here is the AI chat assistant. This is what you can use to build your own chatbot, right? Now, before going to this, I'll just give you a brief summary about the other options that are there. So there we have a summarization assistant where you can upload a document and you can get a summary out of that document, right? So let's say you have like a 100-page document and you want to skim through that, you want to get the important insights out of that document. You just have to upload the document. You have to you can define how long you want the summary to be, and then you'll be able to create a summary and give the insights out of that. Then you have a company research assistant here, which is like the primary version, but we have a separate platform which is more comprehensive version of this, where if you want to, if let's say you're into marketing and sales, and you're doing account-based marketing, then you would want to essentially know all the information about any prospective company that you're trying to reach out to, right? So, so typically what happens is people spend like several days or even weeks in this kind of research that they have to do. Because they have to go through, so much data that may be there on different websites available on the internet. So what we do, or what AI does with this agent, is that it summarizes all the data by itself, and it will create the report for you. It'll do an in-depth analysis and create the report for you. So that's a company research assistant that we have. Now, moving on to the chat assistant. So let's say I'll get started with this and I'll show you how you can build your own chat bot or chat assistant, right? So once you select the chat assistant or tool, then you just click on create new assistant and you name it. So let's say I'll call it one webinar 28 steps, right? And then the next step is to add your knowledge base. So here you have multiple options of where you want or what kind of knowledge base you want to connect. You can also do multiple kinds of knowledge base. You can add multiple kinds of knowledge bases. So the first option is where you have some kind of a file. So let's say you have a PDF file which has all your company information, for example. You can upload that as well. Or you can connect your website so that it'll scrape the data from there automatically and run that. You can also link your sitemap here, and it'll be able to understand all the data from there. And the fourth option is where you can connect your Notion site, and it'll be able to understand the data from there. For now, I'll just go ahead with the website. It's pretty fast and the easiest. So I'll add my own website, our own website, which is navan.ai. I can add as many links as I want. So I can click on add more link, and I can keep adding as many links as I want. So I've added the link here, and I'll just say create a system. It usually takes a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on the amount of data that may be there. and the assistant would be ready. So like I was saying, the assistant is, or the AI chatbot is ready. It hardly takes a few seconds. Right now, it has learned from the data that's there on the homepage of my website of navan.ai, and I can ask questions like, say, let's say, what do you offer, right? And so I'm just simulating a conversation that a customer may be having with your website in this scenario, right? So I've asked a question, what do you offer? And it's able to tell me that navan.ai offers AI powered lead generation or lead discovery. There are several outreach tools. It uses signal strength to score leads. Then there's CRM integration available. Then you get daily new leads and insights for those leads, and then there's company research and manual research capability where you can find more information about certain companies, right? So it's talking about one of the some of the tools, some of the AI agents that we have typically, and that's the information that's available on our website. So it was as easy as this to create a chatbot. Right now, the first part is done, which is creating the chatbot. But the next question is, how do we use the chatbot, right? I mean, here it's on the platform, it's on our platform where you created the chatbot. But then if you want to deploy it on your website, how do you do that? So that's where the answer comes here, where there's an option here on the platform itself which says embed. Now here you get the embed code, which can directly copy, give it to your website administrator, and they'll be able to add it to your website. The instructions are also available here. In case you get stuck, you need help, you can always reach out to us. We'll be able to help you out with that. And it's very simple. I mean, it hardly takes a minute to do this, and the website, the chatbot will already be available on your website there. Now, the question is, the chatbot is ready, it's available on the website, but then if you are managing the website, if you want to know what kind of questions people are asking, who are the people who are conversing with the website, then how do you do that, right? So for that, what you go to, or what you do, is go to this option called conversations, and then yeah, this is the chatbot, sorry, this is for the current chatbot that we created, and this is the user email. And then it's able to tell me that, okay, this was a question asked by the user, and this was the answer that was provided. So these here, likewise, if you have multiple conversations, it'll be able to show all the conversations here, and you can see who is asking what kind of queries, right? And from this, you get an idea of who could be a potential customer for you, or someone who is interested in partnerships, or someone who is just probably a competitor as well. So, like from that information, you can decide who do you want to actually reach out to, who do you not want to reach out to, and have a detailed conversation and so on. So this is, I think, I mean, in a very marketing and sales point of view, or marketing and sales perspective, it's a very important and very useful tool where you get to help your customers, your stakeholders in real time, just like another human would be able to do. And at the same time, you also get an understanding of what kind of people are coming to your website. Or I mean, this is not just a website. You can also we can also help you out to connect it with your social media or any other platform. Could be hosted on your mobile app as well. So whatever conversations are happening on those channels, you can get an idea of that, and you'll be able to get new customers faster. You'll be able to service your new and existing customers faster, and that's how you can leverage generative AI. Typically, at the base of it, it's still generative AI, and that's how we can leverage generative AI and LLMs to make your business more powerful and grow your business much faster. And likewise, here we have just connected to the website. Right now, if I want to add more data, I can just go to knowledge base, and I have the same options here. I can add more data. I can retrain the existing data as well, and I can keep adding more and more data so that the chatbot becomes uh, more comprehensive in that sense. So that's the option available here, and you can keep updating your chatbot as and when you need, as and when you require. And the marketing and sales scenario is just one of the scenarios that I talked about. But then this could be used for several things, right? So even if you want to, let's say you are in HR and you want to help out your teams, your new joinees to get trained, you can do the same thing. You have all your training material available, you just upload it here, your chatbot is ready, and you just give the access to that chatbot directly to all your new joinees. And training gets done in a personalized manner at at any time that your employee wants, very easily. So that's another example, right? Same way, let's say you're into finance, right? You can connect your accounting tool, you can connect your several other finance related tools that you may be using to the chatbot. So for integrations, you'll have to talk to us, but we can help you out. So that's possible. And then once those integrations are done, you can also help out your employees or even your vendors, your customers, to get the right information, right? So even if you have like 100 vendors asking every day about the status of their payments, right? They can, instead of having to pick up the phone all day and wasting your time, that you can have a chatbot which can answer their queries and they'll get the response right away. And at the same time, you'll also be saving your time by not doing or by not investing your time into that. So yeah, there are several use cases, several ways in which you can use AI chatbots, depending on what you're doing, and where you're working, what kind of industry are you in, and so on, right? So that's all I had to talk about mostly today. Um, we have a little more time available, and like we had planned, we can use this for questions. And yes, okay. I think we have a question here. How many documents can be uploaded? How long can the documents be? And what happens if the information between document conflict? Okay, that's a great question. So I'll answer these three questions one by one, right? Now, the first part is how many documents can be uploaded. Oh, there's no limit to that. You can upload as many documents as you want. The second part, how long can the documents be? As long as as you want the documents to be. So there's no limit to that. And the third part, which is what happens if the information between documents is conflicting. In that case, there could be. So what will happen is that the chatbot will provide both the kind or both kind of answers, right? So in that case, you will have to ensure that whatever information you're providing is not conflicting. It learns the same thing from whatever documents you. Let's say you have 100 different documents. You just have to make sure that there's no conflicting information in those documents. And typically, I mean, logically also, if you think of it, nobody really has conflicting information in that sense, because whatever collateral you're using, you'll still have the same kind of information across all your documents. So typically, that's not really easy to have a lot of conflicting information. But in case that happens, you have to ensure that, I mean, manually, you'll have to ensure that you're not uploading multiple documents with conflicting information. Multiple documents are fine, but without conflicting information. And just before we get to the next question, let me share. Sorry, yeah. Let me just share this. Just a second, guys, please. Sorry about the delay. Yeah, I'll just share these links so that it's easier for everyone. All right, yeah. Now I'll take the questions one by one. There's another question which is, will the recording be available for replaying? Yes, we'll add the recording on YouTube. I've already shared the link in the chat as well. And you can subscribe to the channel. We will have the recording available in a few days. So we'll get a notification once the recording is available. We'll also share the link to the presentation. So that will be available. And then there's a question, we are a consulting firm. How AI chatbot could get leads, right? So typically what can be helpful is that you train the AI chatbot with all your marketing collateral that you have about your business, make it learn about your business in depth, what you can offer, what you cannot offer, and so on. And then deploy it on your website, deploy it on, or you connect it to your WhatsApp as well, that's possible. Or you connect it to, let's say, your social media channels. And then wherever you're getting your leads from, they'll be able to get their answers. So let's say if you're running ads to get leads, right? Just taking a very hypothetical example. If you're running ads to get leads, then what can happen is that they'll probably come to your social media channel, or they click on the lead and come to a landing page. Now, on the landing page, if you have this chatbot enabled, they can get answers for their questions. So let's say they want to discuss a requirement, right? They can discuss that, or they can share their requirement and get an answer saying that, okay, this is possible, this is not possible, and this is the approximate cost that would be a cost and time that will be required in this. Now, again, this could be different for different kinds of businesses, because not every business can have the same workflow. But it's just one of the examples how you can use AI chatbots to get more leads. Typically, not really get more leads, but then convert more leads. If you want to get more leads, then we are building another tool, another agent, where you can actually get leads that's based on intent, or leads those are based on intent data. So I'll share that link as well in case you want to play around with that. Still in a little early stage, so you'll have to play around and share your feedback with us as well. Just hang on till I share that link. That is navan.ai to get new leads, right? All right, so I'll move on to the other questions. Um, okay, since you're talking about access to only certain members, where we can give it. Okay, so Vijay, maybe you can reach out to us and we can help you with the access control part. So I'll just open someone from our AI team who can help you out with that. So access control can be taken care of. I think on the platform for now, we may not have that option, but then that should be possible. You can just reach out to us. I think the contact details are available on the screen. You can just take that and reach out to us. Then there's another question: document upload should be in which format? PDF, yes. Currently, it supports PDF. PDF is what I've tried. It also supports text format, so that you can upload, and it'll be able to learn from that. Unless you're using images, I think images may not really work. I mean, it may not be able to pass data from images typically. So as long as there is some text available, it will be able to understand from that text. So text documents, PDF documents, all those are fine. Another question: will it be a public URL that our clients are accessing to get the desired answers, or we can integrate it within our website as well, similar to how the chatbots appear? Yeah. So you can have it wherever you want, right? So if you want it to be public facing, you put it on a website where it's available for all your customers. But if you want to make it available only for your internal customers, then you have to host it at the site where it's only visible to your internal customers. So we do not control that. You have to control that based on how we are hosting and where you are hosting it. So you have that flexibility to define where you want to host it and who do you want to see it, right? So that's the first one. The second question was the pricing and packages. So for pricing and packages, you can just go to the same link, which is agents.navan.ai. It starts from $19, and depending on the usage, so $19 a month is where it starts from. And depending on the usage, you can select the right kind of the most relevant tier that may be useful for you. So that yeah, I think I've answered that. Then how the security features if I implement in banking or insurance app. So Suresh, if you want to make it private, right, you can just reach out to us. We'll help you with a private deployment. So let's say you want to use it for banking or insurance, then the bank or the insurance company may have their own servers, and then we can help you deploy the entire platform, the entire chatbot on those servers only, so that the data does not go out of that network, or whoever has access to that service, only they'll be able to access the data. Now, how do you prevent a chatbot from generating bias or inappropriate response, and how can a chatbot handle inappropriate questions? Right. So this is a great question. It's something I think we also worked out, and we also worked on in the early days when we were developing this platform. So on the back end, right, if you are developing a chatbot, this is something that you have to manage using prompt engineering. And the way you set up the chatbot, or the way you set up the entire the learning curve, or the way the chatbot learns, what does it do, what does not do, that's where you'll have to define how the chatbot handles inappropriate questions or something that it may not know. Currently, what we do is that in case the chatbot does not have an answer to something that you've asked, it just says outright that I do not have this information. And in fact, that response can be changed. It can be customized. But currently, typically, that's what the chatbot will say. If it does not know some information, it will say that, okay, I do not have this information, or I do not have access to this information. And that's how it will be able to respond. Instead of creating something that does not exist, it will tell you outright that I don't have answer to this question. So that's the one. Next. Which document file types it works with? Doc, Excel, CSV, PDF, PPTX. So Doc will work. Excel, not really. I mean, not great results. I think I've tried out with CSV. It will not get you great results, but it will work to a certain extent, depending on how you're structuring the data, what kind of data is there, and so on. PDF, it will work great. PPTX, honestly, I've not tried. Usually what I've done is converted the PPT to PDF and then uploaded it. So if you do that, it will work very well. PPTX, probably you can try and let me know as well. But honestly, I've not seen the need to upload a PPT. But you can just convert the PPT into a PDF and upload it. That will work. Does the chatbot continuously learn, perhaps make the individual customer experience get more and more personalized? Currently, we have not inculcated the machine learning part in the chatbot because not all customers would want that. So in case you want it for your customers or for your business, then you can let us know and we can make that possible. So the continuous learning part and improving based on the queries, that's something that can be made possible, but it has to be done on a chatbot level, or so whichever chatbot you wanted to be smart enough to do that, then we have to implement it for that chatbot. So again, you can reach out to us and we'll be able to help you out. Is it free plan and how many days it's? So there is a free plan. You sign up and you'll get a certain number of credits. It's not based on number of days. It's based on number of credits. So you get a certain number of credits, which are good enough to get you started and build a chatbot, try out the chatbot as well, even deploy the chatbot and get a feel of it, get a taste of it, basically, to understand if it's going to work for your business or not work for it, right? And yeah, so you can get started for free. You can test it out. If it works, if you want to continue, then obviously you can pay for it and keep continuing. Honestly, if I look at it, if I compare the cost, right, if you had to create your own AI chatbot, the cost and the time required is much more. And uh, in this world, in the current world, time is of the greatest importance. So if you can get things done faster and obviously at a cheaper cost, then why not? Yeah. Next question, follow up on this, which document? If this doesn't support CSV Excel well, what would be the best way to provide payment status or tabular type data? Okay. Salman, maybe we can discuss this, one-on-one, because we'll have to look at what kind of data is there. I mean, how much data is there? Let's say how many rows, how many columns, what kind of data is available, and so on, right? So I did try out a CSV with data about, say, financial reports for the past few years, and it was accurate enough, I think, up to 80%, 85%, but it may not give 100% accuracy on CSV or Excel data. So again, that depends on the kind of data that's there. So if you really want to look at this kind of a use case, maybe you can just reach out to us and we can discuss this in depth. Also, we may have to look at some sample data from your side, but only then we'll have. But yeah, we can answer, and then only then we'll have a better answer for this. Yeah. And I think that's the end of questions. In case anyone has any question, please, you can just unmute yourself. You can also, I think we have good number of people still available here. So thank you for spending time, investing time on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening, depending on where you're from. And yeah, we can utilize another 1 or 2 minutes for questions that may be there, or even to introduce yourself and what you may be doing. Right, thank you. Thanks, guys. Whoever is saying thank you. Please, please, please do fill up the feedback form. That's how we can make more webinars and meetups better for you guys. more helpful for everyone. So please do fill up the feedback form. It's very helpful for us. All right, guys. So we'll just wait for another 1 minute and then we'll close this. Anyway, we had scheduled it for 30 minutes plus 10 minutes of question and answers and networking. So we're almost there. Can we have the slides? Yes. We'll be uploading the webinar recording and the slides both on YouTube. So the link to the slides will also be there in the video description. So just go to our YouTube channel. I've shared the link, but I'll share it again on the chat itself. You can just go to our YouTube channel, subscribe so that as soon as the recording is available, you will get a notification and you can check out the recording as well as the slides. Yeah, here you go. I've shared the links again. There's some typo in the feedback form. There's a feedback form. All right. I'll just stop the recording for now. Thank you all for joining. Have a great evening. Have a great day ahead and enjoy your weekend later on. Thank you.